You're so fat!
You're even fatter!
Damn straight, no one outfats me!
Hey everybody, welcome to Life is Too Short. Let's face it, The Simpsons is a timeless TV show that's been around for 30 years, with no indication that it'll be going anywhere anytime soon. This show is filled with annual traditions that audiences can't wait to tune into throughout the year, every year. One of these long-running traditions has been the Treehouse of Horror Halloween special. Starting in the second season, each episode since has been known to touch on 3 tales of satirical terror each. Many of these themes are inspired by horror, science fiction, and the supernatural. Over the past 30-ish years, our favorite Springfield natives have transformed into monsters, made deals with the devil, and especially parodied pop culture's favorite scary narratives. With so many episodes in the book, which ones come out on top? Here's the top 10 best Treehouse of Horror episodes. But before we start, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and don't miss any of our next videos. Number 10. Starship Poopers. Way back in Season 10's Treehouse of Horror segment was Starship Poopers, the one where Homer and Marge find out that their beloved little baby girl Maggie has turned out to be an alien. The title of the segment was actually a parody of the Paul Verhoeven monster movie Starship Troopers. This was definitely one of the more out there renditions of the Treehouse of Horror episodes. I mean, come on, a baby alien? What's better than that? Number 9. The Omega Man. In Season 9, The Simpsons brought on a more typical yet still entertaining Halloween tale to the screen with witches, humanoid flies, and even apocalyptic mutants.
Oh, Spade, why did you put Farley in charge of the bees? Hey, buddy, down in front!
In the Omega Man segment, which came about through inspiration from Richard Matheson's book The Omega Man, Homer finds himself plopped into a post-apocalyptic, post-neutron bombed Springfield. This was a pretty intense sight to see for a Halloween special. The next segment was Fly vs. Fly, which served to be the TV show's perspective on David Cronenberg's The Fly, which featured Bart as a half-boy, half-insect hybrid. The final part of this episode was Easy Bake Coven, set in colonial Springfield where Marge is set with her sisters living as broom-riding witches in a coven. Number 8. Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace.
Do not touch Willie. Good advice.
In the bitter cold fictional month of Smarch, groundskeeper Willie unfortunately faces his demise in the fiery boiler room following the disregard and negligence of the PTA at school, and, as per usual, Homer's stupid antics. The now-dead Scotsman gets his last laugh by taking revenge as he stalks the school children's dreams. From Martin perishing after a gory tongue-lashing mishap to Lisa and Bart going up against Willie in a showdown during their next nightmare, there really was no shortage of twists and turns in this. The narrative was an obvious homage to Freddy Krueger, a classic Halloween tale.
Bart, you're in trouble! Wake up! Wait a minute. If you're here, then you've fallen asleep too. Not asleep, I'm just resting my eye. Uh-oh.
Number 7. King Homer. I'll admit, this one was kind of out there too. I mean, a giant gorilla Homer hybrid wreaking havoc was definitely an interesting choice for a Treehouse of Horror episode. While not much happened in the segment of this episode, Smithers' line was reason enough to include this one. I think women and semen don't mix. All shown in black and white, Grandpa Simpson tells the elusive story of King Homer, who obviously is a rendition of King Kong, but with the added lacking of enough stamina to climb up top the Empire State Building. Despite this being kind of odd, it certainly was funny to watch Marge being handled around in the air by the giant King Homer.
Wow! Look at the size of that platform!
Number 6. The Devil and Homer Simpson. This one's a good one. Homer is awoken from a daydream only to find he can enjoy himself with one of his staple pastimes, eating a warm, rich donut. But when he finds that his emergency stash is missing, Homer is forced to make a deal with the devil in exchange for some dessert.
The Court of Infernal Affairs is now in session.
Very well. But first, some ground rules. Number one, we get bathroom breaks every half hour.
Agreed.
Who better to play the part of the devil than our good old neighbor Ned Flanders? Homer's trust wife Marge is able to conjure up a trial to beg for Homer's soul to be returned. Expect the verdict comes from a jury of none other than his peers, to the likes of Lizzie Borden, Benedict Arnold, John Wilkes Booth, and so many other notoriously frightening figures. Even after some impressive maneuvering through the trial on the Simpsons family's part, the devil renders victorious. Number 5. The Thing and I. While the title might remind you of the Dr. Seuss tale, make no mistake, because this segment from the Season 8 Treehouse of Horror episode is one to remember. The three siblings Bart, Lisa, and Maggie are absolutely petrified to discover there's actually another sibling they didn't know they had. Bart's once conjoined twin, Hugo, is discovered, and it's also revealed that he is evil to the core and was as a result banished to the attic. Having lived a life eating only fish heads while chained to the wall, this fourth Simpsons sibling eventually went mad, leading to his successful escape and hell-bent on rejoining with Bart again. And yes, that means sewing themselves together. This is definitely one of the more gory themes in the Treehouse horror tradition.
Well, let's get started. You want to be on the right or the left?
Number 4. Citizen Kang. The Season 8 installment of the Treehouse of Horror episodes featured a glimpse into an election that was definitely decades after the 1996 presidential race, where two green aliens, Kang and Kodos, go undercover, disguising themselves as Bill Clinton and Bob Dole in an effort to conquer the United States and eventually the world. The kicker is that they have absolutely no idea of how Earth politics work. This segment definitely proved to be an all-too-real example of just how ridiculous our politics have become in real life in recent years.
No, what are you spraying me with? Rum! So no one will believe your story.
Number 3. Clown Without Pity. This Simpsons rendition of the Living Doll episode of The Twilight Zone proved to be equally as frightening. The segment features Homer when he completely forgets his son Bart's birthday and then choosing to make a quick trip to the House of Evil shop, hoping to pick up an ordinary Krusty doll, which turns to be cursed and also named Frogurt.
Which I call Frogurt.
Well, I need something for my son's birthday.
Perhaps this will please the gentleman.
Bart actually likes the gift, but later he finds out that the toy clown starts to threaten Homer's life. Don't worry though, as a simple change in the doll's factory settings get everything back to normal.
With what?
Homer, what's wrong?
That doll tried to kill me.
Number 2. Hungry Are the Damned. Way back in Season 2, the first installment of the now ultra-popular Treehouse of Horror tradition brought us our first appearance of some green, tentacled aliens, which have seemed to become a trend in Treehouse of Horror episodes over the years. Not only did this segment introduce us to Kang and Kodos, but it also leads Lisa to discover the odd cookbook on their spaceship. Number 1. The Raven.
The Raven.
Taking the number 1 spot on the list is none other than The Raven, which not only features the incredible voiceover talents of James Earl Jones, but this segment also, surprisingly enough, stays true to the author's original storyline, even down to the lines. This episode really speaks for itself in its frightening, yet entertaining Halloween joys. Probably the best part would have to be watching an annoyingly persistent croaking raven that resembles none other than Bart Simpson.
Ah, distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor.
Well, there you have it. From endless appearances of extraterrestrials to timeless renditions of beloved Halloween classics, the Treehouse of Horror tradition throughout the years has grown to become a household staple on television. Which episode was your favorite? Leave a comment down below and let us know. And while you're at it, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.